Let's move on to the next question. Question number 6. Aristocrat Limited, while operating at 70% level of capacity, produces and sells two products A and B. The cost and sales data of these two products are as under. So we have 70% capacity only. So that remaining 30% will be based on idle capacity. So that is 30% we have as idle. So this units produced and sold, this everything they have given for 70% only. So direct materials, direct labor, factory overheads, that is 40% fixed, administrative and selling overheads 60% fixed, cost, total cost, selling price per unit they have given. So after this, we have factory overheads are absorbed on the basis of machine hour, which is limiting factor. The word which needs to be noted most is limiting factor. This is the word, key word. So based on this only, entire question is determined how we need to calculate, how we need to produce. So this is a problem related to marginal costing. In that, the decisions needs to be taken based on limiting factor. So remember, whenever we have limiting factor, say for example, if the limiting factor is raw materials, so then you need to calculate contribution per kg of raw material. If it is labor hours, we need to calculate contribution per labor hour. So in this question, machine hour is limiting factor. So what we need to calculate? Contribution per machine hour. Actually, this is while seeing this question, many will feel this is a complicated question. But after understanding the solution, you may feel this is a very easy question and we can easily score 14 marks in this without much complications. So for that, we need to understand the logic behind this limiting factor marginal cost and how we are going to choose which order we need to choose. So decision making, how we are taking under margin costing. And here we have another trick, so that I'm going to explain while seeing the question. So Aristocrat Limited receives an offer from USA. So we are getting an offer from USA for the purchase of product A. So this is for product A at a price of 87.5. So please note, here we have a selling price of 115. So that is domestic selling price. So domestic selling price is different and export selling price is different, 87.5. So and the company has another offer from UK. This is for purchase of product B. So we can have product A, we can export product A, or we can export product B at different prices, right? In both the cases, special packing charge of 2.5 per unit has to be borne. That is, this is one is additional charges. So this is variable cost, right? To be borne by the company. The company can accept either of the two. I can't accept both the orders. I can accept only two orders by utilizing that balance 30% capacity. Right. So I can utilize that balance 30% capacity and accept either of USA or UK only and not the both. So how I can determine based on, already I told here limiting factor is machine hour. So I have to calculate contribution per machine hour. Based on this only I can give ranking, right? But how I can calculate contribution, because both the selling prices are different. For domestic it is different and for export it is different. So here my decision making is required for choosing either USA or UK. So I have to calculate contribution per machine hour based on this export price only. Okay. So if I got this point, the entire answer will be solved easily. So this is the trick we have here. So here we need to advise the company which proposal should be accepted. Showing total profit in support after incorporating the export proposal suggested by you. So if I'm suggesting USA, I want to calculate how much is my total profit after accepting USA. I want to calculate that as well. Okay. So here I already told based on machine hours only the entire problem is going to be solved. So how many machine hours I have? So do I have any clue? No. I don't have any straight information, but I have some clues. That is, factory rates are absorbed based on machine hours, and they have given machine hour rate is 10 rupees per machine hour, right? So here I have factory overheads as 25 rupees. So based on 10 rupees per machine hour, we have so 25 divided by 10, I will be having 2.5 hours here, and here it will be 15 divided by 10, so 1.5 hours. So for producing 1 unit of A, I require 2.5 hours, and for B, I require 1.5 hours. So fine, this we have already calculated now. So machine hours per unit. So for A and B, that is 25 divided by 10, 2.5 hours. Here 15 divided by 10, that is 1.5 hours I required, right? So how many units I am producing as of now? 3000 and 2000 units, right? So for producing 3000 units, total machine hours, that is for producing 3000 units, 3000 into 2.5 per unit, right? So here 2000 into 1.5, so 7500 and 3000 machine hours required, that is total of 10500 hours. This is for how many capacity? So that is 10,500 hours required for 70% capacity, right? Now I want to calculate how many hours I have for 30% capacity. That means 10,500 into 30 divided by 70. Simple cross multiplication. So I have 4,500 idle hours, right? That is for 30% capacity. So using this 4,500 hours only, I am going for accepting export order, either A or B. Okay, fine. How many units I can produce using this 4,500 hours? If I am producing A, 4,500 divided by, for 1 unit I require 2.5 hours, right? So I can produce 1,800 units. Right, if it is B, so B I can produce 4,500 divided by 1.5. That means I can produce around 3,000 units. So let's decide whether I want to produce A or B. Fine. Now I need to calculate what? Contribution per machine hour. So based on USA and UK. So USA, that is product A, and UK, that is product B. So selling price, we have 87.5 and 77.5, that is export selling price. Only I have to consider for particular decision making. Now I am going to consider variable cost. So variable cost, direct materials, we will be having 10, 20. Direct labor, that is 20 and 20. So here I am having variable factory overheads, that is 40%, right? Variable factory overheads. How much? In 25 we have variable overheads of 40%, that is 25 into 0.4, 10 rupees. Sorry, variable is 60%, 40 is fixed. So 15 rupees, and here it is 15 into 60%, that is 9 rupees. After that, we will be having administrative. And selling. Variable overheads only. So in administrative, we are having 40% as variable. So 40 into 40%, that is 16. Here it is 25 into 40%, that is 10. So one more variable cost we have is special packing charges, that is 2.5 for both the orders. So my total variable cost is 63.5 and 61.5. Total variable cost. Hope till now everything is clear. Now I need to calculate what? Contribution. So what is the formula for calculating contribution? Sales minus variable cost. It is 87.5 minus variable cost 63.5. So 24 and 16 I have. So what I told initially, we need to calculate contribution per machine hour. Right. So how I can calculate contribution per machine hour? So for producing 1 unit of A, I require 2.5, right, machine hours. So machine hours per unit, that is 2.5 and 1.5. So contribution per machine hour, that is 24 divided by number of machine hours required, 9.6. Here it is 10.67. So which one is having more rank? 10.67 is highest, right? So ranking 1 goes for B and 2 goes for A. So what I will be producing? B only I will be producing. So how many units can be produced? 3000 units can be produced, which is already calculated. So B can be produced using additional capacity, that is 30% capacity, 4500 machine hours. So how many units can be produced? Number of units of B produced, we already calculated. This is 4500 divided by 1.5, 3000 units. So here we have done with what? Which proposal should be accepted? That for that we already answered. So remember to write the comments. They are asking you to advise, not simple calculation. So we need to advise the company that we have to choose for 3000 units of product B and all. Fine. So after incorporating this decision proposal, we need to show how much profit, total profit I am earning. That is inclusive of that 70 percentage, right? So we need to calculate everything. So for 70 percentage, that is A 3000 units, 2000 units of B, and we have export B, that is 1500, right? So here sales, that is 115 and 95. Here we already calculated for export of B, we already calculated. So the same thing we can use. Now variable cost. So for variable cost, I will be incurring same except special packing. So I'm using simple copy paste here. So for B, I'm repeating. The special packing charges is only for this export order. So only for this I'm including. So total variable cost 61, 59 and 61.5. So my contribution is sales minus variable cost. So 54, 36 and 16. So total contribution, that is units into contribution per unit. So 3000 into 54, here it is 2000 into 36, here it is 1500 into 16, that is 24,000. Sorry, here it is 3000 units, I missed. So 48,000. So I will be getting a total of 2,82,000. Now we need to reduce what? Fixed cost. So now the question comes how to calculate fixed cost. So here fixed cost, we have 40 percentage, that is on 25. So fixed cost, so factory overheads, that is 25 into 40%. Here it is 15 into 40 percentage, right? So this is per unit, that is 10 and 6. Usually total will be calculated based on the units and fixed cost remains constant. So this is 3000 units of A into 10, that is 30,000. 6 into 2000, that is 12,000. So again I have to calculate for administrative and selling fixed cost, right? So here we have a fixed cost of around 60%, that is for 40 and 25. So 40 into 60 percentage, into number of units. How many units? 3000. So straight away I am calculating. So I will be getting a fixed cost of 72,000 here. I hope this is clear. Here it is 25 into 60% into number of units, that is 2000 units. So 30,000, right? So factory overheads, that is 30,000 and 12,000. So totally we are having 42,000. So there is no separate fixed cost I am going to incur for export. Unless it is mentioned, we should not change the total fixed cost. So administrative and selling expenses, that is 72 and 30,000. Again the total is 1,02,000. So my profit here is 162 minus 30 minus 72. That is 60,000 is my profit. So together 1,38,000 is my profit. So this fixed cost only you can show the total as well. Without showing all this, you can show only the these two totals. So it's not an issue. Even if you are showing in this way, it is fine. That is 42,000 and 1,02,000. So even you can show in this way. So the total profit is around 1,38,000. So we need to write after accepting export order, overall profit resulting to 1,38,000. So if you miss to write these two comments, first comment is accepting exporter of B from UK. At least you will miss 2 to 3 marks. So remember to write comments for this type of question. Whenever they are asking advice, recommend like that, remember to write comments. So after finishing your question, remember to check this too.